welcome to this edition of You and the Law. On You and the Law, what I do is to discuss the issues of law in the breaking news. My name is Ekeminudim. I'm a legal practitioner, and I'm always glad to know that you are there keeping me company on this channel. You've kept me company on this channel from the commencement of the channel till now, and I cannot thank you enough. Every day, we continue to have breaking news in Nigeria, in Africa, and other parts of the world. And embedded in these breaking news items are mostly issues of law. The breaking news in Nigeria today is that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, has rejected a second time the Electoral Bill amendment, Bill, which was sent to the President for his assent. You would recall that in the build-up to the 2019 election, the President rejected this bill and said that it was too close to the time of election and that signing the bill is going to create challenges to the electoral body and other challenges that the President, itemized. The National Assembly took back the bill after the election, worked on it, and then sent it back to the President for his assent. And a second time, the President has rejected the bill. And this has created a lot of talking points in the country. People are also talking about it outside Nigeria as to the implication of this rejection, especially as Nigeria builds up to the 2023 election. My mission in this very episode of the show is to discuss the issues of law in this rejection by the President. What does the law say? Okay, what's the legal consequence of the rejection of a law, of a bill by the President? Is that the end of the matter? If that is not the end of the matter, what are the options available to the National Assembly in the circumstance? Now, the issue of lawmaking, the process of lawmaking, the entire process of lawmaking is a process strictly regulated by law. And so the Constitution has made provision as to who should make laws, who should amend the laws, how many times the law should pass through the National Assembly, and what happens after the law has been passed by the National Assembly. And so in this case, the law says, the Constitution says, that when a law has been passed by the National Assembly, it should be forwarded to the President for the President's assent, by implication for the President's signature and endorsement of the law as passed or as amended. And so the National Assembly has done that in this case. The President has rejected the bill. So we get straight to the Constitution. Section 58, that is 5(8), sub 4 and sub 5 of the Constitution addresses this situation. And because we need clarity in the conversation, let everybody see what is in the Constitution. I'm displaying it here on the screen for all of us to see. And I read the provision of the Constitution on this subject. Section 58, sub 4, sub 5. Sub 4 says, where a bill is presented to the President for assent, he shall within 30 days thereof signify that he assents or that he withholds his assent. Sub 5 says, where the President withholds his assent and the bill is again passed by each House by 2/3 majority, the bill shall become law and the assent of the President shall not be required. So as stated clearly there by the Constitution, which is the organic law of the land, which is the supreme law of the land, the National Assembly is by implication left with two options. The first option is for the National Assembly to take back the law, rework the law, and then send it back to the President for his assent. They could subtract, they could add, they could do anything to the law by way of amendment, and then send it back to the President for the President, to append his signature. And that will be done in compliance with the observations and directive of the President, so to say. So the National Assembly has that option. The second option that the National Assembly has is to veto the power of the President and then pass this bill into law, and automatically it becomes law recognized by the Constitution itself. That is because, as you saw in section 58 sub 5 of the Constitution, it says that when the President rejects a bill like this, the National Assembly has the option to take back the bill and then have 2/3 majority of the members supporting the passage of the bill into law. And once that is done, the bill becomes law automatically without the necessity of having the signature of the president appended to the law. But is the National Assembly ready to take that route? That is left for the National Assembly to answer. It is also left for the National Assembly to satisfy Nigerians that they are ready to take that route that has been provided by the Constitution. But does the Constitution give them the power to veto the president and then proceed and make it law and then allow the law to take effect in the entire Federation of Nigeria? The answer is yes, by Section 58, sub 5 of the Constitution. Now, my worry as a Nigerian citizen, my worry as a lawyer who is practicing in Nigeria, my worry as a lawyer who has done election petition at the tribunal up to the appellate court in this country, is the fact that the rejection of this bill by the president for reason principally of direct primaries by for the political parties has overshadowed the other provisions in the amendment, in particular, the provision that has to do with electronic voting. I am an advocate of electronic voting. As a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, we have done electronic voting for so many years now to elect our national officers, and it is workable. It is very effective, and there's no room for money politics. There's no room for manipulation. There's no room for hijack of ballot papers and so on. And I feel that if every other thing is rejected in the Electoral Bill, the provision for electronic voting should be preserved. The provision for electronic transmission of results should be preserved, because for me, this is the pathway for Nigeria's transformation of its electoral process. And so the issue of direct primaries or indirect primaries by political parties shouldn't be played to the extent of overshadowing or being allowed to overshadow and even send away other provisions that have been amended in the Electoral Bill. There is need for Nigeria to sanitize its electoral process, and the beginning of the sanitization process is the having of a legal framework, a strong legal framework that can guarantee free and fair election. And that strong legal framework has to be replicated, has to be reflected in the Electoral Act, which is the body of laws that principally governs, the electoral process, the conduct of this and that by INEC and so on. And I also think that the National Assembly should do what they need to do now or as soon as possible. If they want to reject the president's power, let them reject it now and pass the bill into law. If they want to abide by what the president has said, saying that they should go back and rework the electoral bill and send it back to him, they need to do it now or as soon as possible, because 2023 is not too far away from here, and we need to have a clear framework to move us into 2023 election and to also enable INEC, to do the needful in preparation for the election. I wish my country well, and I do hope that the political leaders in the country will do everything possible to ensure that national interest overrides political party interest. Thank you very much for watching this very episode of You and the Law. I remain your host, I remain your lawyer, and I remain your friend, Ekemini. I'm a legal practitioner, and I enjoy discussing issues of law with you. And I'm always glad to know that you keep watching this channel. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't also forget to invite your friends to subscribe to the channel, because on You and the Law, the mission is for all of us to learn as much as we can from the basic principles of law regulating everyday living in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the world. Thank you, and do remain blessed. And let me say Merry Christmas to you all as you enjoy the festive season, the birth of Jesus Christ. I wish you all the best in all your festive activities, and I wish you a prosperous new year in advance.